Today's episode of the BS Podcast with Gucci Mane is brought to you by SeatGeek, our presenting sponsor, the only fan-friendly app for buying and selling tickets for sports and music. Drop your old ticket app. Use one built for 2017 and beyond. 2017 is coming. You can even do absolutely everything on your phone. So download the free SeatGeek app or go to SeatGeek.com. We're also brought to you by Simply Safe. Right now, you can save $200 with their exclusive holiday package. Full-on burglar protection, 17 sensors, wireless connection, 24/7 home security. Keep your home safe. Get your $200 off today. Holiday sale does end soon. Go to simplysafebs.com. That's Simply Safe with two eyes. And we're brought to you by theringer.com. Go there this week and find a ton of year in 2016 stuff, as well as Rogue 1 Week. Lots of Star Wars pieces. Oh, and guess who else is going to be on there this week? Me. I wrote a basketball piece. And we have Ringer swag. What's a better holiday gift than Ringer swag? Go to theringer.com. You can get everything there. Columns, features, essays, and a ton of podcasts. Let's check it out. Theringer.com. Here we go. The song?
No, I don't know that one. What that is?
Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam.
Yeah. That's Gucci Mane. It's 10 in the morning here on the West Coast.
Oh, okay.
You did Jimmy Kimmel Live last night.
Yeah.
You're in a little tour. You got a new album coming out.
Yes, I got my album coming out this Friday. The Return to East Atlanta Center.
It would be a bigger deal if you hadn't already put out 2 albums in 2016. You're like an album machine. Who puts out 3 albums in a year? I've never even heard of that.
You know, that's just my style. I've been doing it from day one.
Everybody says about you. You're cranking out songs. At all hours of the day and the night.
It ain't really hard to get for me just get in the studio and record. It's easy.
So how many have you done like this week? Well, you're touring, but have you made any music this week?
Nah, just been rolling out the album this week.
Okay. So how many songs? When did you get out of prison? March?
I got out in May 26th.
So what were you doing in there for almost 3 years when you're so conditioned to making music constantly? Were you going crazy?
Oh no, I was reading books. I was writing music. I was listening to music. I was working out. I'm trying to, prepare for when I get out. You know what I'm saying? So I have a whole bunch of material to record.
Right.
I was just, using those experiences and thinking about how I was going to make it a part of my music when I got out.
So what was your process? You have a notebook? Were you writing on all kinds of things? What were you doing?
I had a notebook. I write down ideas. I listen. I buy. They had like a music survey now, so I buy instrumentals of songs that was out, whatever was popular, and so I jot down notes. I write down verses, and I just practice them to different people's beats. So when I got out, I just get my people to custom make me some beats and just custom the song to what I had written.
How'd you stay in touch with everything in there?
Because I really did stay in touch with everything.
Yeah. So what was the process for that?
I kind of detached from what was going on outside, just focus on, keeping myself motivated in there, because if I was like worrying about what's going on out there, would distract me from what's going on in prison, because it's a whole different environment and it demands your full attention.
But how do you know, let's say it's 2014 in June and somebody puts out a new song or a mixtape or whatever that everybody likes? How do you even find out about that? Do you have friends tell you, or what's the process for that?
I wasn't really keeping up with it, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I said, they had a music survey, but it was outdated. So if something was hot, by the time it would come into the prison music survey, it'd be like 3 months later.
Right.
So I just would buy everything that came out.
So when you got out, you were listening to 3 years of music you had to catch up on, basically, right?
No, I kind of knew who was hot. A lot of artists that's popping now. I was listening to them while I was locked up, and I'm now meeting them for the first time.
Right.
I had turned, I kind of was a fan of their music while I was away.
Who was your favorite that when you were in there that you thought either blew up or you hadn't heard of before, or just somebody you heard they were like, oh man, I like this guy, or this
Bryson
girl?
Tiller.
Yeah.
And Kodak Black.
Okay. Yeah. One of the things with you that I think is interesting is you've influenced 2 generations of music, and it seems like when you came out, you started getting the right amount of credit for that. Did you feel like you got the right amount of credit for that all along?
I think a lot of it happened when I was away. I think people got a chance to appreciate me. Maybe it was because I was putting out so much music and I had so many other things around me besides music. You know what I'm saying? Good and bad. So it kind of like took away from, I guess, a lot of things that I had did or the influence I had.
Right.
But it took for me to go away for people to say, okay, wow, look at all the people that he done helped get on, and look how many people he done brought into the game, and look how, you know, I guess all the new artists are emulating what I did and putting they you know what I'm saying, they spin on it.
How would you describe your position now? Like a godfather in the scene?
Not a godfather. I probably would
older
say
brother.
Definitely like an older brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why does everybody say you're in such a good place right now?
I don't know. I guess they just can see it. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know, once you've been in prison and it's just such a different from being out. I don't know. I appreciate my freedom so much. I'm so grateful just that people even want to hear my music still. That I still had a chance to salvage my career because I almost had threw it away.
Yeah.
So I guess people see that. Hey, you know, I really appreciate it, and I think, you know what I'm saying, you could just look at me and tell. When
you look back at like 2013, how bad of a place were you in? And did you know you were in a bad place?
I was in a terrible place. Did I know I was in a bad place? I don't know. It was kind of like a blur. You know what I'm saying? I was out of control, so I can't say that, you know, I knew it or not. I knew that, you know, it was a terrible time for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was very dangerous on so many different levels.
What were some of the reasons that you think your life was spiraling out of control? Do you think too much too soon or too much pressure? What were the reasons?
No, definitely just bad choices and stress. You know what I'm saying? And drugs.
Yeah. I
had like 5-6 open cases, and I had those open cases from doing, you know, from making bad decisions and bad choices, and all that combined, you know, all that on top of using drugs and being on bond and court date coming and you know, I had like 5 or 6 artists I had signed, and it just, all that stuff just was accumulating, and I had, you know, I was in a bad place with me and my label at the time, and there was just so much stuff on top of each other that it just eventually just, you know, it crashed.
Who'd you talk to as that stuff was going on? Who'd you talk to? Like, how many life did you bounce off?
In 2013, I hadn't talked to nobody.
Yeah.
I just, you know what I'm saying, I just smoked weed and drunk lean and just kept pushing. I kind of like numb myself from even, you know what I'm saying, dealing with it. So I ain't talked to nobody.
I'm sure you do some stuff differently. I know I would in my life too. But is there one thing that you're like, that's the one moment I wish I could have back?
No, 100% not. I don't regret nothing.
Okay.
That happened in my life. Everything I did and got me to the point I am now. I feel like that's why I'm fascinated by my own story. I feel like I can't name nobody in my generation that I feel like even can go through half the things I've been through. In my opinion, I'm the most resilient person I ever met. And I'm being serious.
Are you a movie or a documentary or a 10-episode Netflix binge watch drama?
You talking about as far as like looking at movies?
Yeah, your life story.
Oh, my life story.
Would it be better as a documentary or a movie or like a 10-episode series? Who plays you?
I don't know. I think I'm just a comeback story. I'm Rocky.
You right.
Yeah, I don't know who would play me. I would play myself.
You play yourself? You can
I
do
would
that.
have to.
Muhammad Ali played himself.
Yeah, that's me.
Where would you start the movie?
I definitely would start it in Alabama when I was born. You know what I'm saying? 1017. That's the name of my company, but that's like my grandfather's house in super duper small house, little bitty street in Beltsman, Alabama. You know, walking down, people don't even have shoes down there. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't even know it was that poor. You know, and we didn't even have a house. I stayed at my grandfather's house. I was 9 years old. You know, my grandfather's house. I was 9 years old. I moved to Atlanta. The most humble beginnings ever. You know what I'm saying? Just nobody in my family had nothing, no money, but everybody just, you know, helped each other and made something out of nothing.
So when was the first time you had money in your pocket?
When I moved to Atlanta in 8 and 9, I started hustling like when I was like 7th grade. Like from that point on, I just, you know, made a vow to myself, like, you know, I kind of like had that moment where I seen my mother, she couldn't, even though she wanted to, 'cause my mother's a very hard-working woman, and I salute her. Yeah. But, you know, when I seen, like, you know, even though she wanted to, some things she couldn't give me, and I was, like, being more of a burden to her for even asking for it, from that point on, I just, you know, I always said I was going to always keep some money.
You're credited for you basically launching the mixtape generation in that whole era. What even made you think to do that?
People give me the credit, but I kind of like, just put my spin on what I seen other people doing. People from up north was making DVDs, and it was real big back then, like like cocaine music and all these different DVDs and stuff like that. And I started making DVDs with these people called Hood Affair. Mm-hmm. And so I put out my first major album with Atlanta in 2007, Back to the Trap House, and it didn't do good. You know what I'm saying? And I was depressed behind that. You know, so I felt like I was gonna go platinum. My first CD, I had these big expectations. So when it didn't sell good, you know what I'm saying? I just said, okay, I'm going back to what I know, and I started putting out mixtapes after mixtapes after mixtapes. So, but really, I seen Lil Wayne do it before me.
Yeah. So
I seen like, damn, Wayne is going. So he was doing it. They credit me for doing it, but I seen what he was doing. He was jumping on. I would never do feature songs on anybody. I never would want to even work with any other artist. So when I seen he was jumping on everybody, I said, okay, well, let me try that. And I put my, my niche on it and did it my way.
What was the story that when you're making one of your comebacks in like 2006, 2007, where you were trying to sell the mixtape and the guy wouldn't buy it, so you went in the parking lot and just started playing the song and everybody started drifting toward the car?
Yeah, because when I first started, like 2005, I had an independent joint venture with somebody. I put out my first CD. So soon after I put the first CD, it sold like 200,000 independently. But me and the dude I had a joint venture with, we had a falling out. Yeah. So I kind of went on my own then and started making my first mixtape on my own called Chicken Talk. And me and the DJ I did it with, as soon as I made it, we went to like some place and tried to, like get them in some stores. And people was like, nah, we don't want Gucci mixtape. That's how they was acting. So we just went outside and started playing them, and then people just started, taking to it. And then the guy came out there like, okay, let me get some of them.
Right. Yeah. One of the things people say about you is you just have really smart taste in who's good, which you hear, like, I think writers are like that. I think chefs are like that. I think actors are like that. What is it? What do you see when you see some young kid and there's something about him and you're like, that's somebody, I want to use him for a song or something?
I don't know. I guess a lot of times I just been listening to music for so long. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I guess like I've been doing it for so long that it gets to a point where it's some kind of unconscious thing that I can just tell.
Is it a little bit of a competitive thing where you're like, uh-oh, I got to watch out for this guy?
It's not at all. Okay. Because like a lot of people who I came up with, some artists that was in, like my era that was doing good, they wouldn't work with other artists up and coming. That just was the standard. They're not on my level. They just came out. They might be a one-hit wonder. They would not collaborate with people. But me, I would love to collaborate because I would be like, oh, he that's the discussion I would be having with my crew. Yeah. Like, he might be the next to blow. You heard that song? I'm like, he hard. And I would want to work with them. Right. But they had to be talented. That was the only thing about it. I had to feel like, for me to give them a shot of me want to work with them, there was something good was going to come out of it.
That was something that really started in the mid-'90s, where people were pulling people into certain songs and all that kind of stuff. And then your generation seemed to learn from that. Did you have a big influence from the 90s?
Big influence for the 90s, yes. I used to love...
Because everyone compares you to Tupac.
I'm a big Tupac fan.
Just about how you're just relentless. You're in the studio, you have a million songs, you could drop 10 more songs anytime you want. That's what he was like until he died.
That's a huge comparison to have to be, what I'm saying? I don't know even if I deserve that. Because Tupac, he was just such a great songwriter, and the music he made was so deep and so personal. Yeah. And my music isn't as personal. What I'm saying? It's just fun, entertaining. I'm the truth now, but I wouldn't say I'm a Tupac.
Compare Atlanta, East Coast and West Coast to me with the sounds. What makes Atlanta stand out? Because Atlanta, to me, just watching it from afar as a white guy in my 40s, like with Atlanta, there's a it's just happy. Yeah, there's a happiness to it that I don't know. West Coast has more of a groove. East Coast is a little more of an edge.
It's like it's so many different factors what make Atlanta. Is why we, what I'm saying, like kind of everybody look to us what's going on. Yeah, it's a club culture or just screw up clubs and getting your record popping. It's it's a city. It's like one of the biggest cities in the South, and they got so many different people from so many different places. Like most people in Atlanta are not really from Atlanta.
Right.
Most of them migrated to Atlanta, so and it's just a big tourist attraction. So it's always somebody in town. You know what I'm saying? And it's like one of the only cities in the South that can probably, like got the Braves, the Hawks, and the Falcons. So we always got, people coming in, athletes, entertainers. So it's always somewhere you can go and get your music heard at. Every day of the week is Magic City on Monday, it's such and such on Tuesday, it's the Compound on Saturday, and then it's 10 other places that's competing with them places, and they all get huge crowds. So it's so many DJs you can touch. It's so many ways, and if you can make it in those clubs, and everybody got a shot to go to that club and get their music heard, and if you make that, it really does translate to getting on the radio. And then we have all of these surrounding cities and states that follow Atlanta radio.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's so many, all you got to do is go and just, if you got some hustle by yourself, you ain't even got to be the best rapper. You can just out hustle everybody and get yourself known in the club, which is possible. And from that, you can really start making money, even if you never even make it to the radio.
I have a lot of Atlanta questions, but I wanted to ask you one more thing about the mixtape generation, because this year, the way people were releasing music and big artists, you could feel a shift. And I thought what Kanye did was really interesting, where he basically leaked out an album, then he took it back, then he kept working on it, and he was tweaking it as it went along. Beyonce just drops Lemonade on a Saturday night, and it seems, and Drake's putting out mixtapes, and it seems like I don't even know what an album is anymore. And I guess it was like that 10 years ago, but now it feels like even in the mainstream, nobody knows what an album is anymore.
Yeah, you know a lot about music. One thing about
thank
it,
you.
On point.
I got a lot of young people around me.
Yeah, because the way you're right. You're right.
But then you feel like this was the year when everything changed, right?
Well, I was only here half of the year. You know what I'm saying?
2/3.
No, 6 months.
60%.
I only been out 6 months.
When'd you get out?
I got out in May.
Yeah, half the year.
Yeah.
You're right.
So a lot of stuff I kind of had to get out and adjust to and see. You know what I'm saying? And, because like I told you, I wasn't really keeping up with it when I was in there. So I'm just seeing the way that people, distribute their music now. And it like I said, it's tailor-made itself for me because this how I always been.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people, when I was doing it, that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when I told Todd I'm going to drop 3 mixtapes in one day. He was like, why would you do something like that? Don't do that. You are crazy. What is you doing? Then later, he was like, you a genius. That was the best thing we ever did. Seriously. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people copied that. Not saying that I started that, but I just like taking chances. I always want to get my music heard. You know what I'm saying? And all these big artists, they're making so much money back then that they didn't have to drop an album every even once every 2 years. Now people attention span so short. They saying that they got to feed these people because the next internet person or internet craze can come from just a dance, and then that'll knock their spot from being number one.
Right.
So they got to compete with not just all the people who signed to the major labels. They got to compete with all these people who just organically making stuff and loading it on the SoundCloud or YouTube or Spinrilla or this, that, and the third. So it kind of leveled the playing field. So they got to come out their comfort zone and they got to put out music.
Well, think about how different that is from like 05 when you had the song with Jeezy and you couldn't decide whether to put it on an album or not. And by the time you put it out, it had already kind of gone through the club circuit. Now you'd put that thing out in 5 seconds.
Yeah. I like it like that.
Yeah. I would actually, you're a sports fan, right?
Huge.
Yeah. It's, the advanced metrics revolution. Just simple math, like how people I don't know, in basketball, everybody shoots threes now because they did the math. And they're like 3 points is worth more than 2. If you shoot 30 shots in a game and you make 12, that's better than going 15 for 30 on 2 points. It would seem like the more songs you put out with the way the music industry is set up, the more of a chance if you put out 50 songs, 3 of them might hit. But that's 3 hits. So it would favor people like you that can just put out music and put out songs and constant, quality stuff that one of them's going to hit every once in a while, right? Or am I overthinking this?
No, you're right in a way, but it's kind of like some people say, how they say quality over quantity. So if you put out,
but you have both.
In my opinion, and hopefully your opinion, but not a lot of people don't agree with you or me. But I'm cool with that.
All right. I have Atlanta stuff. So when did you get to Atlanta?
I moved in 89.
So you went to the Gold Club once or twice.
The Gold Club, the Mob Run Gold Club.
The one that had the big trial in 2001 when all the athletes went to.
I never
went to that one?
I know which one you're talking about.
Patrick Ewing had to testify that he had 2 girls at once. All that stuff. You never been there with Patrick Ewing?
No, I have never been to that place there. I heard a lot about it. But they have a new Gold Club in Atlanta.
Oh, they have a new one?
Yeah.
Probably not as crazy as the old one was.
It's nice, but it's nothing like that. I did my album release. I did a party there on the 17th of October for my Woptober album. It's nice. Yeah. Nice club.
What's the best gentleman's club in Atlanta right now, in your opinion?
The best gentleman club, Magic City is the classic club.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would have to say Magic City. It's small, but it's made for, you got to be serious. Like, you can't go into Magic City playing around. You probably can go in any other place in Atlanta and go to the club and just be chilling. But when you come to Magic City, you got to come to spend some money. If you don't, then you don't even need to go. You
realize, for outsiders, Atlanta is like the strangest city to go to. The couple times I've been there, it's like there's not really a downtown unless you know where the downtown spots are, and you go, like, every city you go to, Boston, you go to Chicago, San Francisco, there's like a central something. And Atlanta is just spread out, and you kind of have to figure out where to go and what to do, and you almost have to know somebody.
You definitely have to know somebody in Atlanta to have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really want to, you got to be in the know. You go to Atlanta and don't know what's going on.
You're screwed.
Yeah, you're just going to be sitting at the hotel, and you're going to think you went somewhere and seen something, but you really never seen a real Atlanta.
I was confused. A lot of highways.
But come next time, call me. I'll take you up to there. I'll take you to Magic and show you something.
Let's talk about sports in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So, the Falcons.
They're the truth.
Okay, you're a believer this year?
We just made the rounds. We just made the rounds. Fire that coach. You didn't see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
The next day.
Yeah. I think they were ready to do that anyway, but I think you helped. He was standing on the cliff and you nudged him.
We're going to push them over there then.
What would matter the most to Atlanta? Falcons Super Bowl or a Hawks title? I'm guessing the Falcons, right?
Both.
No, but you have to pick.
I love, my favorite teams are Alabama, Crimson Tide, then the Falcons.
Yeah.
So I love the Falcons. The Hawks. I'm a huge Hawks fan.
Okay.
But I love football more than I love basketball.
All right. So what are your feelings about the Mike Vick era all these years later?
Man, I love Mike Vick. Mike Vick was so hard. I wish he never got in trouble because he was doing good with him, man. He was on the road. He was so good, man.
What was your perspective on the Mike Vick thing as it was happening? Because it was the dogfighting thing in certain parts of the country. Everybody goes nuts if anything with dogs, and then there's other parts of the country where people grew up with dogfighting and they looked at it differently. I
really didn't have no opinion, to be honest about it, but my whole thing was I was a fan of him, and I'm probably biased. You know what I'm saying? I'm in Atlanta. He's our quarterback. Like I said, I love the Falcons. So I just wanted him to stay and play because he was so exciting. You know what I'm saying? He had to sit his soldiers every time it was a Falcons game. I'm like, it was such a big deal. So when he left, that part of, you know what I'm saying, or the week just went down.
And anyone who played video games, he was a big deal because he was the most amazing video game
every
quarterback.
time.
He was almost unfair.
I just hyped the ball and just run.
You gotta have somebody else.
Yeah.
You just run like the five receiver shotgun and just have him run around.
But now we got Julio, and I'm a huge Julio fan.
So do you know these guys?
Yeah, Julio's my partner. That's who gave me the tickets to
you did something with him,
He gave me the tickets to the Rams game.
Okay.
I was like, Julio, I'm in town. I got to come out there. Then he didn't play because he had turf toe.
So did you ever think of doing one of those songs that, like a Super Bowl shuffle type song where you do something with the Falcons and it becomes something they play in the stadium? You should do that.
They play a lot of my songs in the stadium. Every time we get a first down, they play So Icy. They've been doing that the last 6-7 years. Yeah, they've been doing it the last 6-7 years.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
You should be really proud. It's really hard to get the song that becomes a staple in a sporting event.
Atlanta, that's my city. They supposed to play it.
So Matty Ice, you're a believer?
Well, you know what I'm saying?
See, that's the reaction everyone has. Everyone has that reaction. There's a pause, and then you try to be nice.
That's our quarterback, so I'm rooting for him, and you know he's doing good. But you know he has frustrated me a lot over the years. But at the same time, I think we might got it together this year.
What rapper would you compare Matty Ice to?
I would compare Matty Ice to, golly.
This is interesting because you don't want to insult a rapper and you don't want to insult Matty Ice. You got to find the right balance on this one.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
man.
You don't have to answer it.
Good one.
Okay.
That's a good.
What do the Hawks have? I wrote some Atlanta questions down because I don't want to forget anything. Yeah. What do the Hawks have to do to have a better fan base? Because like Al Horford left, and his dad said when he left, like one of the reasons he left was when he played in Boston, he loved the fans and the crowd, and it just the Hawks fans just never got there.
They should have brought me in as one of the minority owners. If they would have did that, that would have changed the whole landscape.
Was that in play at any point? Did you ask?
Well, I was locked up when they was looking for owners, but they still should have reached out.
Well, they had a whole bunch of minority owners, right?
They didn't have me.
Maybe there's still time.
I hope so. I would love to be a part of them. We should move them to Moreland and call them the East Atlanta Hawks on my side of town. It'll just change the whole thing.
So you would move the stadium?
Yeah, I just did a part. I did a show for the Hawks like 3 weeks ago. They played the Pelicans on like a Tuesday, and I sold it out. And they brought the revenue. That guy ahead of that revenue down. He was like, "Listen, we just sold out the Phillips Arena on a Tuesday, playing the Pelicans. Like, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Do you know what you just did?" So I told him then, I was like, "Y'all need to get in business with me."
Yeah, give me a share. I mean, people thought Jay-Z owned the Nets, and he owned like 0.00001% or something.
He might own 0.1%, but how did he parlay that into whatever he needed to do? We don't know.
Yeah, but it was the perception that he was involved, and the team really used him in Brooklyn, especially to be like, "Yeah, we got Jay-Z on our side," and it was whatever they gave him, it was worth it.
But people don't know probably what he used that perception to do.
I think it helped both of them. So this could help you, the Hawks.
It could.
The Hawks should reach out to you.
They're my partners.
When you proposed on the Jumbotron, that was like the biggest Hawks moment in 25 years since Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah, I met Dominique that day too.
You did?
Yeah, for the first time.
What did he say? Did he say don't get married? Isn't Dominique never got married, right?
Dominique cool as hell. He told me congratulations.
Dominique was a legend back in the day off the court.
Dominique is still a legend.
I used to do ESPN's basketball show and a bunch of stuff with Jalen Rose.
Wow. And
Jalen Rose revered certain guys who, did well with the ladies, who played in the NBA, like Magic and Dominique in the South. He said Dominique like owned the South. Dominique owned his own. I think he started and owned his own nightclub.
Yeah, he did have a club.
That Jalen always thought that was genius. So when I had Dominique on a podcast, I asked him about it, and I was like, "Jalen said you opened a clubs to make it easier," and he was just like, "That Jalen." And he started shaking his head.
He used to be my favorite player.
That was good. I'm a huge Celtic fan, so I went to those Bird Dominique games. I went to the shootout. I was actually in the building. Dominique was amazing. That was the game when he dunked a rebound from the foul line, which is still the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
We lost that game.
Yeah, you lost that game. Dominique was like, it was weirdly the best moment of his career, but they lost.
Yeah.
But it was kind of that one, and when he lost the dunk contest to MJ.
Yep.
That he should have won, and they gave it to MJ because he was like the golden child, but Dominique won the contest. Those were like the two best moments of his career.
Dominique was the truth.
So what do the Hawks have to do? So you think they're in the wrong part of town?
I think I like the Hawks.
They need you as a minority owner.
I think they should get me in as an owner. I would love to have a part of the Hawks. That's one franchise I would love to be a part of.
I can't see why they wouldn't do that.
Well, maybe somebody
need help. They need some traction.
Maybe they'll hear about this and they'll reach out.
I bet they hear about this.
I guarantee
somebody read a blog post that Gucci Mane wants to be involved with the Hawks.
They got my number. They'll text me later.
Is there a right place to put these sports teams? Because like the Braves are moving again.
The Braves moved already.
Yeah, they're moved to the suburbs, right?
Yeah, they're in Cobb County now.
My Atlanta friends, including Robert Brown, were very, very upset about the move.
It happened while I was away, but I remember a lot of people were super upset that they left.
Yeah. How'd you stay in touch with sports for 3 years?
No, I watch ESPN on TV.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, were you able to see like the finals and that stuff, Super Bowls?
Yes, I seen the finals and the Super Bowls and college football. I always watch a Sports Center, see what's going on and read the paper.
Alabama? You able to watch those?
Man, of course. We lost Ohio State. It was so sad.
Well, now it's like Alabama it's almost unfair. It's becoming unfair to college football what's going on in Alabama. It's a legitimate dynasty.
It wasn't unfair when Auburn beat us. It wasn't unfair when Ohio State beat us.
Okay. It's starting to feel unfair.
Well, life isn't fair.
Okay. Oh, what's the difference between East Atlanta and every other part of Atlanta?
East Atlanta, the major thing is, Atlanta is composed of zones, and it's like the city kind of set up kind of crazy. Like on the east side of Atlanta, there's only one zone, Zone 6. All other zones are on the west side, or central, or north. So it's like when you get to the east side of Atlanta, you get to Zone 6, and then you're gone. Then you're like in Decatur, you in, you know what I'm saying, Stone Mountain, and all these different places. So it's like, far as just being the east side, it's the only place on the east side that is Atlanta. And once you get out the city, you know what I'm saying, it's just the landscape just changes. So everybody like super proud of that neighborhood, because it's like, you know, we the only part, we the east side of town that's still really authentically considered Atlanta.
You were in prison when they started making the TV show Atlanta, which then became a huge hit this year. Did you see Atlanta?
I still haven't seen it. I heard about it.
You haven't seen Atlanta? How come?
I ain't had time.
You have to see Atlanta.
I know everybody been telling me it's super
I'm dying
good.
for your only because I'm dying for your opinion on Atlanta. I want to know what you think.
I'm gonna check it out. They say it's good.
It's really good.
What's the name of that show I'm waiting to come back on? I'll be looking at. That I read the book about. They say winter is coming.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's what I like. I like the Game of Thrones.
You watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I watch Game of Thrones and Power.
It would be interesting if you love Atlanta or you don't like it because it's almost like too close to home for you. Because it's about an up and coming rapper in Atlanta.
No, I'll check it out. I'm gonna give it a try.
It's only like 8 episodes.
I'm gonna look at it. I'll get on Netflix and pull it up and see if it's on Netflix.
FX now. I predict that you will be on Atlanta by season 3, at least for 1 episode. Let's take a quick break to talk about Blue Apron. Stop wasting money on expensive takeout. Please just sign up with Blue Apron. For less than $10 per meal, Blue Apron will deliver all the fresh ingredients you need for a delicious home-cooked meal. They have the highest standards for ingredients. They built a community of home chefs that have no rival. Some of the meals available in December include roasted pork and braised cabbage with barley and glazed apples, Thai green coconut curry with sweet potato and jasmine rice, brown butter and chestnut gnocchi with Brussels sprouts and pea shoot salad. Right now, you can get your first 3 Blue Apron meals for free with free shipping. Just go to blueapron.com/BS and you'll find out why they're in my fridge as we speak. Blueapron.com/BS, Blue Apron, a better way to cook. And also, while we're here, if you've ever seen anything in my office that we've done for Facebook Live or anything else, you probably noticed how fantastic my posters looked. That's because our friends at FrameBridge framed everything in there. Their experts custom frame your item in days, not weeks or months. They'd frame them in days and deliver them finished and ready to hang. Go to framebridge.com. You can upload digital photos, Instagram, whatever you want. Their designers will even help you pick the perfect frames. They offer a happiness guarantee. Instead of the hundreds you'd pay at a framing store, their prices start at $39. All shipping is free. As I've said many times, I am a FrameBridge groupie. I cannot believe the TLC they put in their framing and their packaging. Find out why InStyle called them a genius site. Go to framebridge.com, use promo code BS, and you will save 15% off your first order. You know what I'm going to do? On my Instagram account, which I think is SPTGUY33, I'm on Instagram. I post good Instagram photos. You should follow me on Instagram. I will put a couple photos because I just changed my office around and added a couple things that FrameBridge framed, including a pretty great Nirvana one and a Bob McAdoo Braves one and a whole bunch of things. So I'll put that on Instagram and you can see for yourself. Framebridge.com, a promo code BS. And now back to Gucci Mane. All right, I have some speed round questions for you. Ready? What's the best song you ever made?
First Day Out the Feds.
What's the best lyric you ever wrote? That's a good question, right?
Man,
Come on,
that's a
everybody
good
knows
one.
what their best thing is.
I don't know. I got to think about that one.
All right, you're passing. Drummer Boy said, "The myths I've heard about Tupac, I think of Gucci instantly. I think Gucci would be rapping on the corner on the block, entertaining the hood, whether he's famous or not." Is that true?
Not true.
Okay. You were in prison in Terre Haute, Indiana. That's where Larry Bird went to college. who used to
Wow.
face off against Dominique Wilkins. Did you know that or you didn't know that?
I didn't know he was from Terre Haute.
Yeah, Indiana State. What's the single best thing on the Waffle House menu?
The waffles.
Okay. What's the biggest thing people get wrong about prison?
People think that it make you hard as an accomplishment when really it's a punishment, and it's nothing to be glorified.
This summer, an internet rumor started that you had been cloned, and Drake ended up taking a picture with you to prove otherwise. If you did have a clone, what kind of things would you ask this clone to do?
I was down sure ask him to do them 3 years for me.
Do you have any advice, because you've been in a few feuds in your day, do you have any advice for Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant?
Just, get your money. You know what I'm saying? If y'all was friends at one time, y'all don't got to never be friends again. But you can wish him well. You know what I'm saying? And just silently, you know what I'm saying? Just wish him. You ain't even got to tell him. Just wish him the best and just, you know what I'm saying? Just get your money and do your thing and live your life.
Okay. What's the last thing you ordered online?
Last thing I ordered online, a trampoline for my little boy.
What do you think of Dame Lillard as a rapper?
I haven't heard it, but he's a hell of a basketball player.
All right, good answer. Can someone learn how to freestyle, or is it something you're born with?
You definitely have to learn. You can learn, because I didn't know how to freestyle.
So it's not innate. It's not something you're born with.
I started off writing, and then I started getting so many requests for features that I didn't have time to write it no more. So it just made sense to just put it up and do it.
Is it true you're doing a mixtape with Malcolm Gladwell?
I would love to write a book with Malcolm Gladwell. I haven't read
If you
all
wrote
his
a book
books.
with Malcolm Gladwell, I would buy it.
Man, listen,
that's one purchase right there. I
that's
have my
one-
Amazon
that's-
pre-order ready for you.
That's one. I've been thinking about that since I was locked up. That me and him need to do a collaboration book.
That's my friend. I could help arrange that.
I would like to meet
I
him.
almost had him call in during this podcast, but I didn't want to interrupt our flow.
He makes good books.
He does.
He wrote a book about me. He don't even know it.
What was the book?
The Outlier. That was
10,000 Hours?
that was like the biography of me.
You're the missing chapter in Outliers?
I'm the Maverick.
In 2013, you said college athletes should not be paid. Do you still believe that?
I think they should be paid.
You think they should be paid?
Yeah.
Okay. How much would you pay them?
I don't know. They making so much money in them stadiums and stuff, man. They should give them something so they don't have to sell their jerseys and all that. Just give them something, man. Just make sure they don't have to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do stuff to hurt their career. Just give them something so they can just stay instead of having to leave school early.
What would your plan be for paying Alabama athletes when they're already being paid?
That is not true.
What's the last item you actually purchased from Gucci?
Last item I purchased from Gucci. I'm scared to even talk about Gucci at the moment. They on my ass.
What? Gucci's on your ass?
They got.
Is there a reason?
I don't want no smoke with Gucci. Period.
Okay. You know they have the store in the Trump Tower.
I can believe it.
What's the craziest thing you've ever read about yourself online?
The clone thing. That was like when it first got out. That was weird. You know
What was
what I'm
that?
saying? You know, like people saying I was cloned. At first, it started out small, then it started growing. Like people would start really
Oh, the
believing.
clone. Yeah,
like
yeah.
CIA clone and all that. It started getting kind of outrageous.
Did anybody in your life actually wonder about it?
I don't know, cause like my circle's so small now.
Yeah.
Everybody who I keep around me, they, you know what I'm saying, they just seen my transformation. You know what I'm saying? They start seeing how I was working on myself and they seen me just change. So, they didn't know. They knew what was going on, but for people who didn't know me, I don't know what the hell they were thinking, cause I wasn't talking to them no more.
What's the biggest your circle got?
It used to be just, I used to have artists and they have their entourage. I think I had Thug, the Migos, Young Scooter, Walker. I had all these people around and all of them got deep entourage. So I have people around I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And I just didn't even care. You know
It's
what I'm
almost like
saying?
a boxer.
Worse than a box. It was just unrealistic. I would go to the club, 100 plus people, man.
100 plus people?
Yeah.
It's like throwing your own wedding.
It was bad.
When is your wedding, by the way?
October 17th, 2017. Yeah.
How many people you invited to that? Do you know?
I don't know.
Are you involved in the planning?
Nah, my fiance handle everything. I'm just there.
Okay. Where did you meet this young lady?
I met her in Atlanta.
Okay. What's your favorite ad lib? Gucci, Ya, or Burr?
Burr, definitely. Burr is the best ad lib in the history of music.
Are you ready?
And it's all genres.
Have you talked yourself one way or the other with Dwight Howard into liking him or not liking him yet, or you just need more
Dwight
evidence and
Howard.
time?
I love Dwight Howard. What do
You love
mean?
Dwight Howard.
As a player, yeah, for the house, we need him. He hometown.
Well,
You
Dwight
don't
Howard,
you don't like Dwight Howard?
not
come
really.
on.
No.
That is
I think
that's
there's
bad,
something.
man.
I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I think he was the best center from maybe 05 to 2010. But I don't think he knows what he is. He should just rebound and block shots. Stop posting up, Dwight Howard. He's starting to post up again for you guys now. Just stop. Nobody wants to see you throw jump hooks off the backboard, Dwight Howard.
When you see us in the finals, I want to hear you say that. Then
In the finals, you're 12-12. That would be a big turnaround.
a lot of people, you got to start somewhere.
You like the German?
The tall guy.
No, the point guard, Schroeder.
Oh, he's from Germany.
Yeah,
I knew he was from somewhere.
yeah. That's why he acts like that.
Man, I wonder where he was from.
Yeah,
Man.
that's why he's such a shit stir.
Yeah, I like Schroeder. He hard.
Well, they probably got him after you went to prison the last time.
I've been watching it for a minute,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I still want to keep Teague though.
Yeah, I like Teague. Teague always used to burn the Celtics.
Yeah.
Best female rapper ever.
Best female rapper ever. Lady of Rage.
Were you okay with Beyonce naming her album Lemonade?
Hell yeah. I like that.
The 10% of you where it wasn't like, come on.
No, 100% was like that was dope. Beyonce is one of the best to ever do it.
All right. Favorite professional athlete you ever hung out with, just as a hang? You don't have to. Don't say Julio Jones just because you're friends with him and you want him to feel good. Like, give me a genuine answer.
The best. Oh, how
Most
about
most fun, best hang, professional athlete. Just like you're like, I love this guy.
And you say I can't say Julio.
You can't say who it is.
I said I can't say Julio.
You can, if it's
Julio.
if it's true.
100% Julio.
Really, Julio.
Julio cool as hell, man. He humble. He humble as hell. Julio invited me one time to his house with his mother and them late for Thanksgiving dinner when he knew I was just out of town. When all my folks in Alabama, like, my mom over here, she cooking, come over here. So 100% Julio.
Okay. Your favorite month of the year, is it Waptober or December?
100% October. My favorite date, 10/17. That's like Black Friday in my world.
Was your Twitter hacked in 2013 or not?
Nope, it was not hacked.
Okay. If you were ever going to tattoo your face again, what would you get?
I would never tattoo my face now.
Okay.
I'm the most handsome I ever been right now.
Your new chain is called Saint Brick, and it has its own Instagram and Twitter, and it goes for 50 grand. It's actually really cool. Who is the most famous person that you know who has bought it?
No, it didn't. No, Saint Brick is my chain. They got an Instagram account, but it's like, I don't have a hype man. So I say like Saint Brick is my hype man because he always with me on the stage. So
But what's the chain that the actual?
I call it Saint Brick, but
Yeah.
actually he just solicits features from other artists. That's just a page that I use him to communicate.
But what about the actual chain? That's not for sale for 50 grand. Did I get duped by the internet?
Man, if you couldn't get that,
I got duped by the internet.
do you know how many 50 grands it'll take to buy that chain? You was tripping. Can't believe you said that.
I went to a bad internet page. Don't blame me.
Man,
I thought I could buy it. I was thinking about buying it for myself for Christmas. I had a rough year.
you can buy it, but you're gonna have to get it. You're gonna have to.
It's got to be more than 50
you have to
grand.
multiply that.
Okay. You, the Brick Factory, Migos, Young Thug, Pee Wee, all these guys. Anybody coming up that we don't know about yet that you feel like could move into that stratosphere group?
Who could, like, the next up and coming?
Yeah. That you're ready to kind of adopt to throw into that whole
I'm
group?
relaunching my label top of 2017, so I'm looking for that next person. So I can't say, I got my eye. I'm looking for talent now. So if anybody knows somebody who is talented, they need to turn me on to them. It seems like everybody, you know, there's always new people coming out, but everybody who I feel like got something going, they already got a deal and already got signed.
Last question. What's your favorite story that you've never told?
My favorite story?
That you're like, man, every time I do an interview, I keep waiting for somebody to ask me about blank, and they never do. And this is a great 2-minute story, and I'm going to tell it right now.
I got so many stories that I can't even, man, I don't even know which one to
Give me
even
one.
talk about.
Give me one from like 2006.
2006.
That range. Anything?
I don't know. To be honest, I can't. It's kind of hard on top of my head to think about just a good story that ain't nobody heard. Everybody know everything about me. I'm just.
You think that's true? I thought you had a chain called St. Brick for 50 grand. I was wrong. I think there's a lot of misinformation out there.
You gotta. I don't know, man. Sometimes I like being an enigma. I like the rumors. I like the mystery of being me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get so much out of me from just hearing my music. If you just listen to my music, I tell you how I feel. You get my opinion. You get my stance on just everything.
All right. So this album's coming out December. It's coming out Thursday. The Return of East Atlanta or it's Friday.
Yeah,
The
December
Return of
7th.
East Atlanta Santa.
Yep.
And this is not your last album of 2016. You're squeezing in one more in the last 2 weeks.
This is it
You
for
have
this
2
year.
more weeks after this. You can put one more out. What's the record?
Even
Maybe about 4?
God rested on the 7th day.
So 2017, you put out like maybe one, or you
Two albums next year. My first book.
your first book.
Yes.
Oh, so this is happening.
Yeah, it's coming. I think in May.
Who helped you write it?
I wrote it myself, but I'm gonna get somebody to help me put it all together. But I definitely wrote the whole book myself when I was in prison.
Really? How long is it?
It's I'm still compiling it, but it's a whole bunch of papers that I just wrote. I can't even tell you how long it is. I just wrote and wrote and wrote.
I showed my kids your St. Brick intro video last night. I have an 11-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old son. They were riveted by it.
Wow.
Because it gets scary about a minute in.
When it stops.
And then, when it stops, and they were like, and then all of a sudden there was money under the tree and stuff, and they were super happy. They got worried for a second that something bad was going to happen.
I bet there's some wonderful kids. They got good taste.
Yeah, it was good. Oh no, they liked it. They love any holiday song that has a little hip hop. I mean, that's not technically a holiday song, but it feels a little bit holiday-ish, right?
It got
It's
the
in
jingle bells.
vicinity.
It got a little bit of jingle bells in there.
It's got a little thing. All right, so what other press are you doing? Is this it?
No, I got a bunch of stuff I'm doing in New York tomorrow, nonstop.
But this was the
20%.
most fun thing you've done all week.
100%.
All right, cool. Gucci
100%,
man.
man.
Good luck with Matty Ice and the Falcons.
Thank you.
I wish you less than good luck with the Hawks because I'm a Celtic fan. We're going to see you in the playoffs.
We're gonna see the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
You Patriots Falcons. I would love that.
Me too.
That's my team. My team laid the smackdown on Monday.
Yeah.
We reminded everybody that we're a dynasty with 4 Super Bowls and going for a 5th.
Y'all the truth. Y'all ain't nothing to play with.
Have you written anything about Tom Brady ever?
Have I ever written something about Tom Brady?
Written a song or anything? Tom Brady?
I shot him out on the return. He's still on the sign.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
See, you have good taste.
Yeah.
All right, good luck with everything. Thank
Thank you so much. It was so much fun talking to you.
All right, thanks again to Gucci Mane. Thanks to SeatGeek. Thanks to Stamps.com. You got to avoid the post office during the holidays. God, the last 2 weeks of December is just brutal. Stay away from the post office. Buy and print official U.S. postage with your own computer and printer. Go to Stamps.com. Click on the microphone at the top of that homepage. Type in BS. You'll get a 4-week trial plus a $110 bonus offer that includes postage and a digital scale. Stamps.com. Promo code BS. Thanks to TheRinger.com. Thanks to PearlJam.com. And we are back on Friday with a fresh, brand new podcast. And don't forget, I have a new column coming this week. Unless it disappears from my computer magically, which would suck. I will see you then. I will see you in print. I will see you back here Friday. All right.